So the story we'll be reading today is The Wild Swans. Now, because of limited time, we'll be splitting the story into two parts, so this is part one. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a good king and his 4 children. His wife had died, leaving him to raise 3 sons and a daughter on his own. The queen had been a beautiful and gentle woman who had spent her days in the garden among her rose bushes. The king's youngest child, Rosalind, reminded him of the king. From the time she was small, Rosalind loved to tend to her mother's roses. As she grew, Rosalind was as good and kind as a daughter as any man could wish for. The king's 3 brave sons spent their hours hunting, as most princes do, in the forest. One day, they caught sight of a white stag at the edge of a clearing. They chased the stag through the forest from dawn until dusk, but slipped soundlessly through a bush. As night fell, the princes followed the stag into the kingdom of Queen Maeve, the ruler of the fairies. I don't know. Queen Maeve heard the princes crashing through the trees and, in a rage, turned them into wild swans. Wailing mournfully, the swan princes flew over the castle walls and disappeared into the night sky. Rosalind heard their cries and opened her window. She saw her beloved brothers rising from the moon and disappear. The king fell into deep sadness. Even Rosalind, who had always made her father so happy, could do nothing for him. So Rosalind took leave of her father and set out in search of her brothers. She traveled far and wide until one evening she came to an ocean. On the shore, Rosalind found 3 white feathers. As she bent to gather the feathers, an old woman wandered down the shore carrying a heavy basket. Rosalind took the old woman's basket upon her own back and helped her cross the rocky beach. "Thank you, dear," the old woman said, smiling kindly. "What are you doing here all alone?" Rosalind clutched the 3 feathers to her breast and replied, "I am searching for my brothers who have been transformed into swans. Have you seen any swans nearby?" The old woman nodded thoughtfully and pointed towards a rocky cove in the distance. Rosalind turned her head to look. When she turned back again, the old woman had vanished. Rosalind hid in the bush to wait and see if the swans would appear. Finally, as the sun began to set, 3 swans flew over the ocean and came to rest in the cave. Although she had longed to call out for them, Rosalind held her breath for fear that she would frighten the swans away. At the last of the sun's rays disappeared over the horizon, a startling change occurred. The swans lifted their long necks and transformed into men. Rosalind could wait no longer, ran onto the beach, into her brother's arms. "We only have until sunrise," the princess told her. "Then we will become swans once again, and we must fly back over the ocean." "Then I will go with you," Rosalind replied. The princes worked all night making a net to carry their sisters. At dawn, when they again became swans, they carried her over the ocean into the cave. While their brothers hunted for food, Rosalind curled up into a pile of leaves and fell into restless sleep. She dreamed of the old woman she had met on the beach. In Rosalind's dream, the old woman transformed into a beautiful and frightening queen. See you next time. I hope that you liked the story. I also hope that you liked the swan that I drew. Very, very interesting. The speak is a bit more longer than I would have liked, but I don't know. Yeah, alright, so see you next time. Bye-bye. How'd y'all